Right now, newly elected president of Zambia Hakainde Hilchilema opened parliament last week Friday with a pledge to his government that he would work towards economic transformation and unity of the country following his discovery of an empty treasury. Now, Zambia's macroeconomic situation heavily relies on the relations with the IMF, who will be able to provide a loan for the coming months. Here to talk to me about the economic state of Zambia, I'm joined by Africa analyst Dr. Charles Singala. Dr. Charles, good to have you with us tonight here on In Focus, and thank you for your time. The opposition has already come out to say that President Hakainde Hilchilema's statement that his government has inherited an empty treasury is a lie. Why would he come out and alarm the world and the nation like that if it's not founded in truth?
Yes, thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. It's quite unfortunate that we politicize everything in our country. Zambia hasn't been doing well as most African countries. It depends what opposition, the ones who are in government, the PF, how they consider that they left money in the country. If you look at the ratio that there was 2.3 billion in the reserves outside the country and the debt compared to the debt of $13 billion, one wouldn't say that they left money in the country, in the coffers. It is quite rhetoric for them to feel otherwise. The country is actually not in good shape, as what the president has indicated, that there's actually no money. Hence, there's some facilitation with the IMF that they can loan the country again to go back into the debt. Maybe it shall be good, but again, we are only worried of the conditions brought by the IMF, because some of the part of the funding has been categorized as the COVID-19 pandemic funds, which just are only basically to buy the PPEs and the vaccines and all that type of thing.
If indeed the government or the president has found the government with treasury empty, how will then will he be able to fulfill some of the promises that he made during his campaign, promises like free education as well as youth employment?
Yes, it's not going to be easy, as all those freebies that they were on the campaign promises trail won't be realized as soon. And as he indicated after opening up Parliament, that free education shall be given to those who can't afford. He even actually went to an extent that his children does not need that free education, just to mitigate the promises that he promised during the campaign trials. Now he has faced reality that he has to lead the country. First, he must find the money. Besides finding the money, he's fighting again that Zambia is over-indebted. Most of the income from either the mining sector and as well as from the private sectors, all that payments goes towards the payment of debt, which is unfortunately, and as well as Zambia, it's about 75% of the population, they are in informal trading. This money is not accounted for. Hence, he actually replaced the Ministry of Religious Affairs with the Small Business and Youth Development, so that SMEs can be integrated and supported, so that they can start feeding into the economy. Yeah. We're very optimistic that maybe change shall come to Zambia in terms of fiscal discipline and as well as managing the debt. But again, for him to kickstart the economy, I'm sure he will have no option than to borrow again, but this borrowing, he has indicated that he'll be borrowing for recapitalization so that they can generate money for the country to sustain itself, instead of his predecessor who borrowed so much on consumption.
Explain to me then this position of the PEP leader, Sean Tembo, who says there are these SDR allocations amounting to $2.9 billion. Says these are reserves estimated at 2.9 billion rands, $1 billion actually, not too far from the 3 billion that was estimated earlier.
Yes, the information hasn't been cleared. I haven't got information that is very clear, but, Sean Tembo as well is bitter for his rival, because I think one of the parties HH had made a coalition with leading to the elections, which was too early, maybe 2 years before the elections. Part of them was Sean Tembo was a spokesperson. He's coming out very strong in the social media to indicate his point in the political space so that he can gain the reputation and the name that he deserves. But what I can say is, yes, Zambia's got reserves, which has been confirmed by the new Minister of Finance, that is close to about the $2.9 billion. And those reserves is not liquid cash. There's conditions for them to touch those reserves because part of the borrowing of the other monies which they borrowed during the last term or the last government, conditions was that they do not deplete those funds. So, this also suggests to what the president said that there's no money in the country, which is reality. Many or much of the money is with the individuals, as corruption was an order of the day in the country, Zambia. We are told that many ministers and those who are connected in the government had to walk away with some cash. Hence, there's some rumors that maybe the suggestion of changing the currency, not specifically the currency, but the type of kwacha, can mitigate that risk so that they can have the money in circulation so that the government can operate properly going forward as he builds up his campaign promises to the Zambian people.
What's the total effect of this statement, the opposition pointing to the euro bond dropping by 600 basis points after that particular statement?
Yeah, the main reason could have been the change of government, as the confidence of the investors in the country was very, very low. The rating of the country was also below average due to the status of the country and how the fiscal policies were implemented. You must remember that in Zambia, like many other African countries, fiscal policies are on the word of mouth through the ministries of finance. They are not ratified into law. So that inconsistency, brings up a very bad impression to the outside world, and it affects also the Eurobonds that the Zambian government was supposed to pay. So I think the value has gained over the period of time, especially from President HH taking office. We've seen the stabilization of the dollar against the kwacha, which has dropped a little bit further, about 16 as compared to before the elections, which was in excess of 23 kwacha per dollar. So there's much a lot of people, they expect, especially investors, they're expecting a lot of changes, to bring confidence, in the country. As the country is going to be being rebuilt again. But again, like I said, it's not going to be easy, as it's going to be doing some damage control of what was done before it can start showing some fruits. And normally this is what happens in a set like this in the political space. We only expect in Zambia to start seeing some fruits and tangible results, I think maybe the last 2 terms of the first 5-year term in office.
Dr. Charles Senkala, I appreciate your time and thank you very much for joining us tonight, African analyst there in Zambia, Dr. Charles Senkala.